Blog Talk Radio. Good evening, everyone. This is December 13th, 2014. I'm Chief Langley, Savannah River Band, Bucci Indian Tribe. Saturday evening and tonight, I want to touch bases with you about healing and the healing power that's in you. Many of my teachings come from my mother and father that raised me for 3 days old, my grandparents. So I pay my homage and respect to them for leaving me a legacy to carry on spiritually, mentally, socially. Learning who you are is key. It's very important. And many a time we don't honor our ancestors by keeping the basic principles of culture and tradition that they've given us. Those are the tools of who we are. So tonight, we're going to deal with a few things. I'm going to talk a little bit about native slavery tonight, the one-drop blood rule, growing up with my Ute ancestors, some of our burial practice, my grandfather's hunting and fishing practice, and how love is used as medicine, believing in faith and the unseen, believing in yourself, and walking with your ancestors. So now let's start with the one-drop blood rule. And to me, this is one of the most racist, colonial laws that ever existed. I'm going to tell you the story of 3 women. And we're going to talk tonight briefly about 3 sisters. And these 3 sisters are Native American women. Each of these sisters choose to have a husband. One married European, one married African, the other remained Ute. In this journey, I'm going to explain to you how ridiculous colonial imperialism is. Each one of these sisters had children. One gave birth to a half native, half white. The other gave birth to a half native, half African. The other remained native. Now, out of all these 3 children, colonial laws, they are still blood. They're brothers and they're from sisters. What is significant? Well, the one that married the African, that child is no longer an Indian. He's a Negro. The one that married white is an Indian. There's no question about the third. So now let's deal with the issue of the offspring of the Negro and the offspring of the European. It's funny to me in life how the European is the one that came in and created such chaos, but at the same time, he's going to make himself an Indian and deny the Negro from 3 sisters. These are the same children. I want y'all to understand how these laws of colonial imperialism still lives today. So if these European lawmakers are listening tonight, I want you to explain to me how these three children are not blood related when they all descend from the same grandmother and father. Explain to me. This is a travesty of paper genocide. And most white people don't even want to talk about this. We have an issue that needs to be addressed. So now the half Negro child, no longer Indian. The half white child, Indian. I want the world to understand the mindset of colonial ideologies in colonial times. From colonial thinking combined with imperialistic thinking, because they brought two into this country, those type of thinking, colonialism and imperialism, and combine the two. I remove you by your land and take your resources from you and make myself wealthy. Or I will come in, conquer you by military force. I speak on Native American issues most Native Americans don't even want to touch. So for those of you out here, I'm telling you tonight, as a genealogist, as a Native American, no one can deny you of your blood. Don't look to the Dawes Road. Don't look to the Miller Road. Don't look to any of that. You don't need it. Doesn't apply to you. From the method that we teach genealogy, we teach to go in and study one's own history. Remember your old stories. Go read the slave narratives, manumission laws. Not going to cost you $5. You don't need to be an intruder. These things are very important. So tonight, because many of you are hurting, but the healing begins within you. You got to dig deep inside your soul and release those hormones. And let the wells of your eyes overflow and release the pain that you're feeling. You are of your ancestors. These things are very important. So tonight, I wanted to take issue with that because I see too many sad Native brothers and sisters that are brown skinned. And because they ended up in colonial slavery, our ancestors choose not to take that route to Oklahoma or to a reservation, they lost their identity. But losing the identity, you didn't lose your blood. So don't forget that. These things are very important. So now I want to speak briefly on Native American slavery. And I want to pinpoint a few things. With genealogy, there's learning of history. It's very important. When you know the history of who you are, and you know the history of the signs of the times, you have no problems. You have no roadblocks. You deal with the reality of what is. And that's why tonight is that journey with the ancestors continue. Because genealogy is about you. You don't have to fake the funk to be something that is 2,000 years ago. Learn who you are 3 or 4 generations ago. Well, Chief, I don't know how. Then you must learn. There comes a time when you have to go against the grain of things. Self-mastery, because the ancestors in you will rise up and bring you consciousness of who you are. You got to remember these things. Take these things with you. Learn to create love in your life. And if you don't love anyone, love yourself. Not arrogantly, but with confidence. See? I remember as a child when I would go to school and my parents would always buy me a new pair of sneakers. And sometimes I didn't want the kids to laugh at me, so I would scrub up the toe of my sneaker so they wouldn't look new. So the kids wouldn't be saying, there he goes with them new shoes on. Because I didn't want to feel out of place. But at the same time, my parents gave me their best. So I want to scar the best that my parents gave me because I don't want some kids to laugh at me because I have on new shoes and they don't. Some things in life we have taken for granted. And as I look back on my life as a child, in my mind I tried to make adjustments of things when my parents did the best. So some of those things today, I even shed tears. Why did I do that? Trying to buckle to some peer pressure when my parents gave me the best that they could give me. And I choose to scar it just so I could fit in. So I'm saying if there are any kids out there tonight, don't fall for any peer pressure. Some of you, the very best that your parents can give to you is the very best that they only have to offer you. Love. I was taught love is medicine. It's medication. It can heal. It can bring prosperity. It can cause you to prosper. You can leap beyond walls and mountains of your situations and circumstances in life if you have it. Some of the greatest accomplishments you can do in life is do it with a life partner, your husband or your wife. That's fuel. And when that relationship is in harmony, she's the queen, he's the king. They're both royalty. I'm no greater than you. You're no greater than me. It's a balance with life. Too many times in relationships, as my grandmother would teach me, couples begin to get into competition. There's no competition against you, and there's no competition against me. We are in this together. I watched my parents 42 years together. And not one time I saw one argument or one fight. I didn't even hear my father out his voice, but my parents severed their differences behind closed doors in a calmly manner, because it wasn't about him and it wasn't about her. It was about them. And that thing called the relationship is what bonded them together for 42 years. Neither one of them wanted to disrespect or disregard that bond that they had. I watched as a child. I admired that so much I desire it for myself even to this day. Many times, cultures, traditions, we tend to try to outgrow certain things that was instilled in us. And when you try to outgrow basic principles and ideologies that your parents instilled in you, that were for benefactors of your life to get you to an adulthood, that's a dishonoring of your ancestors. So we have to reflect on life. Many a time we need to just sit down and look in a mirror and look at that man or that woman in the mirror. But sometimes so many of us get so caught up in false personalities and ideologies, we don't even know that person in the mirror anymore. Because it's not you. It is that personality that you've adapted to, or that ego. Important. My father raised me from 3 days old. Dad used to take me fishing. Some of the fish Dad would catch, he'd throw back. I'm trying to understand a logic of understanding here, because my father took no more from the river than he needed. So many a times in life, we try to gather the surplus of things and allow these things, because we have the surplus, they become to be unused and unwanted. But we have them, but they serve no purpose. I got it just because I got it. We got to be careful with the certain things in life that are surpluses. See? Save it till you need it. I was raised to concentrate on needs. Mama always said, baby, you may want that, but this is what you need. And here I stand today, some 48 years later, understanding what my mother taught me at 3 and 4 years old. See, when you're raised, you have a keen shop of memory, because you remember those life experiences. And I tell everybody, life experiences are good and they are bad. What you remember is your experiences. All of these things help you develop to grow. People are so afraid of failing. Failing is not the problem. Quitting is the problem. Because my parents taught me there was no failure. This is your learning experience. Now get up and go do it again. And think about what you didn't do right. Now correct it. See how easy that was? You could have did it the first time if you listened to me and you had paid attention. Many a times, we don't pay attention to details of life experiences. Things are very important. So how do we continue on? How do we learn who we are? And some folks think I am totally fanatic with genealogy. You know why? Because genealogy is a science of living. You learn more about your life, your ancestors' life, so forth and so on. You discover things about you didn't know was in you. And you look back in time and you will find that your great-grandfather did that. Wow. Because your grandfather still lives today and lives within you. This is how man lives for thousands of years. We continue on. You have to understand these things. My folks became Christian, but they never became Christianized. They understood. They were too tied to the earth to let it go. I tell people all the time, go hug a tree. Find you a tree. Hug it. Wrap your arms around it if you can. And cry like you can't cry anymore. Just release all pain and worryation and get the strength coming up from those roots into your system. Things are very, very important. Go dig your hole in your backyard or your front yard. Plant your feet in it. Cover your feet up. Find you a nice spot in the sun and plant your feet into the earth. And get from the moon, the sun, and the earth. Ground yourself. Because we are the earth. This flesh goes back to the earth. So most of your minerals and your nutrition come from it because you are of it. Sit down and drink a gallon of water a day. And flush not only your body, but cleanse your thoughts. Because a lot of the foods you eat, depending on what they are, they clog your thinking. These things, very important. See, there's one thing about getting back to self. You need to identify who self is before you decide to go back to self. You got to understand this thing. Life is a science of living. It's a beautiful thing. You have to learn to balance three people. Me, myself, and I. Body, spirit,
soul. Same thing with mind, body, soul. Your mind is the closest thing to your spirit. You got to take care of that mindful man. You got to take care of that soulful man. You got to take care of that physical man. You got to take care of that mindful woman, that soulful woman, and that physical woman. When you have all three of these existence balance in your life, you are in harmony with life. Because many a times your thoughts, your mind is all powerful over all. You can be sitting at home and your mind going wander someplace. But you right here. I don't know what I was thinking. I was off in La La Land. Travel. Your mind take you places. If you have a good dream, you'll get mad with somebody for waking you up out of it. Because you're traveling. You're going places in life. The mind. Tap into your thoughts. Because whatever you want, get full of the feeling of it. Picture it in your mind. Well, Chief Langley, if we had all this ability, why did we allow the European to come in and take it all? Christianity, having a good heart, not understanding the white man's language, not understanding his behavior. Spanish gave us a whole better deal, even though they came in the beginning, a little ruckus. But when you go back and look at the colonial records of the Spaniards, all they wanted was some people to convert to Catholicism and leave you alone. But the Europeans, the Englishmen, we wanted a whole different ball game. I want your life. I want your land. I want you. See, most people think all native people died from smallpox. All native people were killed off. Let me tell you something. And this for everybody that's listening, black and white. Do you know what killed the identity? Because you didn't kill all the blood. Slavery. And writing people out of existence on paper. These are the things that diminish the population. People need to go spend time and study eugenics. Study the ideologies of racial identity. Study social constructs. And tell me what you come up with. And tell me, do race really exist? Race is an illusion. A social construct created by colonial imperial thinking. When you look at the ideologies of race from the 1600s to the 1700s to the 1800s to the 1900s, they all had different ideologies and philosophies on who was who. Who was writing these books? You have to understand these things. So today, when I look at some people and how they embrace these concepts today, and they're supposed to be educated people, it's foolishness. Too many times. It's foolishness. These are illusions. And there comes a time when we must get up out of an illusion. Doesn't exist. You see race without looking at a person? So tell me it exists. Show me race without looking at one human being and tell me you see race. It does not exist. For the system built upon colonialism, imperial thinking, sometimes you get both. My dad used to say a long time, when this man comes in, he comes with the sword in one hand and the Bible in the other. You watch him carefully. See, we got to understand things in life. You're a smart man. You choose your battles carefully. No general picks a battle he can't win. He chooses his battleground. Because if you're going to take your men to war, you better engage them in a battle you can win. If you're not, you may lose the war. And you've won a few battles, but you lost the war. These things are crucial in life. You must understand that. My dad, as a child, would sit down military science. And military science is not the art of just going to war. There's all different aspects of it. Economics, sociology, psychology, all different realms. You understand these things with life. See? Many of you out here thinking you just totally sovereign. I'm sorry, you in the belly of the whale. How much sovereign you going to get in this country? You going to get some tolerance. Well, I'm going to just get me some land. Okay. Where you going to get your power from? I ain't going to use no power. Where you going to use? Where you get your running water from? River. Maybe that river has boundaries. That man has governed it. Therefore, you trespass. And according to his intimate domain, they're going to make you tap into the system. Now, I'll just live off the land. What your wife going to do? We don't need running water. We're washing the river. Your wife want to wash in the river today. Some will. Some won't. Better understand what you transitioning her from. And you're not going to flip the switch on today and change it tomorrow and think she's going to be okay with that. You're going to need to think carefully about the decisions that you make in your life that affects other people in love with you or you are responsible for. These things must be understood. Many times we're out here in life and we're making decisions and we're making the decisions on the fly. You can't always do things on impulse. There needs to be a plan in place. And the strategies and the tactics that you're planning to use, you may need to pilot test them. Because sometimes some of the things you brothers are saying totally out of your mind. So you really need to think about of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and how does it balance out with your significant other that it doesn't cause your relationships any chaos. My dad taught me to put expectations on all things. Everything is to be expected. Dad, why am I always putting expectations on these things? So you won't get any disappointments. You won't be surprised. You won't get your feelings hurt. Because you put expectations on these things. So if anything happened, you knew what to expect. These things in life are very, very important. So, don't think in life when you didn't grow up on a reservation or you're not in an Indian state like Oklahoma, your parents didn't have the teachings of their culture given it to you in mainstream society. So you have to learn to identify with the things and the characters of your mother and father. Where did they develop these habits and characters from? Well, they got it from their mother and father. Well, who were they, mother and so let's create a family project now. All of us get around. Mom, daddy, and the kids. Let's see how far we can go back and find out who we are. Let's do it together as a family. This is so exciting. This is the road trip we're going to take. We're going down the genealogy trail. Grab a pizza. Let's go. Put your backpack on, your thoughts. Let's take this ride. Because, Mommy, Daddy, I want to know. This is life. Too many times, family structures are not like they used to be. See, my dad didn't care if his daughter was 40 years old. He'd take her and her kids on a picnic. See? Because you never outgrow your parents. You never outgrow the love of them. Even when my mom was 100 years old, I was still her little boy. Now she's gone. I close my eyes sometimes and I still feel the hugs she would give me when I was 3 and 4 years old. See, you have to pay homage to your family, to your mother and father while they are here. When they become your ancestors, you have the memories to hold on to. And from time to time, the spiritual consciousness will awaken and they will present themselves to you. Your parents having a mother, having a father that's still alive is precious. If you haven't told your mother you love her, tell her. You haven't told your father, tell him. You haven't told your children, tell them. You haven't told your husband, tell him. Haven't told your wife, tell her. These things are very important. Love is medication. There's no greater antidote you can have in life than to have someone that's in love with you. And you resonate that back to her. And you look at the children that the two of you through an act of love making created. Because one of these days you're going to be an ancestor. And that child continue to walk and you walk in them. But you got to believe in yourself. You have to many times believe in the unseen of things. Believe in the unknown is called faith, but you see it in your mind, and it hasn't manifested in the flesh yet. These things, very important. So tonight, I dedicate this to honoring the ancestors, and I dedicate it to family. Those couples out there now, hug one another. Hold one another's hand. Grab your children. These things in life is precious. Don't let no one take away your joy. Your loved one brings you joy. Your children brings you joy. Your mother and father brings you joy. Things are important. Reflect on these things of you. So take a dose of love and take a teaspoon of it daily, 2 or 3 times a day. Become obsessed with it. Words and words are powerful. Understand these things. Reverend these things. Sometimes we allow nonsense of things that really don't matter, that's not of a factor, interfere. Did it really matter? Well, if it mattered enough for you to do it and it was wrong, it matters enough for you to say, I'm sorry, I made an error. I'll correct it. It won't happen again.
I love you, and I shouldn't have. These are the things in life tend to get away from these spoken words that are very important. We got to understand these things because healing lies within you, and healing lies within me. And when you're in a relationship, healing lies within us. Many times, it's not what you do to me, it's not what I do to you, it's what has happened to our relationship. Because that is the bridge that ties us together. These things in life are very important. So as of now, I'm going to open up the call. Anybody have anything? I'm going to start 843. Caller 843.
Hello.
Would like to add anything? Yes.
I just think this is a great show. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
How do I mute? *6?
Yes. Thank
you.
414. Have anything? 414, you live. 414?
Hello? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Not much as a question, Chief, just a comment. Like the caller before said, I think this is a great show because you cover a lot of aspects, spirituality and knowledge, both coming together. And you put them together very well. So I really appreciate what you're doing for the community of this is internet of the world. So my appreciations to you, Chief.
All right. Thank you. Caller 205.
Hi, can you hear me?
205. Yes. Go ahead, caller.
Great. This is Setta. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, wonderful. I hadn't heard from you for a while, but I love your show. This is wonderful. You know, a lot of our people are waking up to the fact that who we are, you know, as a people and who stepped first on this continent. And so many people are waking up and a lot of things are changing. I can see it. I can feel it. And I'm so glad that you went to Blog Talk so that you can reach a lot of people to let them know. And they are waking up, and I'm pretty sure they appreciate it just like I do. So thank you again for the show, and keep it up. And I'm going to mute myself, and I just wanted to say thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, I thank all the callers. We have started the show going to be Wednesday, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and might air Sunday afternoon. And on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, we're going to have game shows. We're going to have Tribal Jeopardy, Name That Tribe, and Tribal Feud. And we're going to teach the history of our people through games. And that was our way of bringing inclusion into it. And there's going to be a whole lot of genealogy questions because our platform is genealogy based. Learn. There's never a wall in genealogy that you can't cross. Never. With all the struggles, with all the triumphs, they exist. You can accomplish whatever you want in your mind.
Many of us have mastered the spirit, but we haven't mastered the flesh of things. So now let's take the spiritual energy that we have and let's manifest it into the flesh. Let's make some fleshly things happen in harmony. Throughout our communities, if we start by cleaning up one family, that is ourselves, and let that cleaning up in love and the reflection of that shine some light next door. And they do it. See, we spend too much time with self. There is nothing, and I'm a single man, but I'm going to tell you, there is nothing in this world more beautiful than seeing a family together. A husband and wife holding hands, or a couple holding hands, or their children with them. That is the kingdom. This is how we solve our problem, with the family. One family at a time. But if every family would start at the same time, we would have a very beautiful community, family clan, tribe, nation, or kingdom. Because these are small kingdoms. And these small kingdoms go into nations. These are things that we must do. We don't need no outside influence for that. You don't need nobody else to straighten you up when you know you're wrong. Tighten it up. Quit looking at things as sin and look at it as experience in life. Let's deal with it from a spiritual standpoint. Because when you start looking at stuff from a religious standpoint, looking at it as sin, oh Lord, I'm in the downpour. Look at it as an experience, whether good or bad. If it's good, I can build upon it and make it great. Bad, I need to correct it and build upon it and make it better and better and better and better. We constantly evolve every day in our lives. Get better. Each day in our lives should be an advancement. If it's no more than advancing your thoughts. Evolve your thoughts. Is it the physical man change, or the man change his thinking, or the woman change her thinking that transfers her outward appearance or her personality? It starts in the mind. The mind. Let's get the mind right and build our nation. Because we are all nothing more than small nations in our households. So I say tonight, I thank all of you. My blessing goes to you because my ancestors gave me knowledge and training while they were here on this earth. You have received what they've given to me. And I am grateful. If there was no you, there would be no one for me to speak this knowledge to. So I'm grateful. And I thank all of you. And on that note, in the words of Yuchi, he so hey. That's wishes. Have a good night, everybody. Night, night.